National Park poster is actually a print of a puzzle design. At the time that I got it, I was not into puzzles at all, so I was gifted the poster version instead of the puzzle version, and it's cool. It's really cool. I'm glad I can like have it on my wall instead of in like 1,000 pieces in a box somewhere. My Hawk Nelson poster. I love this poster so much. So back in ye olden days when we used to buy CDs, I don't know if you kids know what those are. CDs came with really awesome album art, and so this poster is the album art stuffed inside the CD cover but unfolded, and it's beautiful. It's from a Hawk Nelson album released in 2006 called Smile, It's the End of the World, and it's hilarious and I love it. Here are some pictures I have on my wall of human beings and dogs, and I think there's one of just a tent and a campfire with no people in it. I love all of these people. It's over my desk and I look at it a lot and it makes me happy. The most iconic part of my room, as I always say, is this sign. I love this sign. In summer 2019, we toured the USS Lexington, which is an aircraft carrier in Corpus Christi, and it's really cool. I enjoyed it. It's just a normal sign, but I thought it was hilarious, and I was like, I need to take a picture of that and put it in my dorm room. So this is my How to Detect a Creep. It's from a Bible study I did in high school like 5 times. It's really ingrained in my brain, and it's a really good reminder for me and my roommate. This is a piece of college mail that I stole from Jeremy because I thought it looked cool. This is a bookmark from my grandparents. This is Kilroy. It's a joke and it's hilarious. And I understand it because I had to do a research project about the national monuments in Washington, D.C. So when we went to Washington, D.C., I was like, we have to find Kilroy. So we did. He's on the World War II memorial in a corner. It's hilarious. These 3 little quotes I printed out last year and hung on my wall to fill some space, and they are still on my wall because I needed something to go in this particular area. These drawings are one of my favorite things that I have on my wall. I worked at camp this summer, which most of you probably know. We had 1 week of like actual camp with mostly normal operation. Each church there adopted like 2 or 3 staff members, and they like spoiled us all week, and it was so cute and amazing. But my favorite thing that they gave me was all of these letters, and they made me so happy. They were so encouraging, and so I picked 2 of them to hang on my wall, and they're so cute and I love them. And of course we have the Grinch on my wall because you already know why. So this first watercolor is a Luke Lizon quote. I think I said his name right, I don't know. I guess he's a pastor in Atlanta, Georgia, I think they just moved there, I don't know. He's a pastor somewhere, and I follow him on social media, and he always puts out these really good devos on Instagram, and one of his quotes is, "You're safer in the storm with Jesus in your boat than you are on dry land without him. And I just really love that quote, so I painted this little ocean scene with the quote on it. I painted a bunch while I was at camp because camp was not normal this year and I had a lot of free time when I was just hanging out in my room, so I painted so much, which you will see. There are several things from camp that I made, but this is one of them, and it says, "Now is our time," and there's not really a deeper meaning of it. It just looks cool. We also have this verse from 1 Thessalonians. It says, "Rejoice always, pray constantly, and give thanks in everything." It's just a little lettering thing with some watercolor. Here we have my walrus trio. I believe these were inspired by prompts on Instagram. On my art Instagram, I ask my followers for ideas of things to draw sometimes. I don't think there was a prompt for the flannel one. I think that just came out of my mind. I really went off with the flannel camping one. I drew myself as a walrus. That's what happened there. This little tiny watercolor lettering is just hanging by my door. It says Jesus is still alive, which is inspired by a sermon from, I think, Resurrection Day 2019. And yeah, it's a good reminder. I see it every day before I go to class, go to work, etc. This is a simple painting. Sometimes I just like to, you know, just throw paint on a page and it looks kind of cool, kind of abstract, I guess. But I just wrote Lamentations 3:21-23 on there. Great verse. This is a sloth. I think this was another Instagram prompt. A sloth drinking tea. This is one of my favorite things I've ever painted. I actually painted like 3 of these because I was trying to get it exactly right and perfect, because this was my dad's Father's Day present. And so yeah, I gave him one of these in a frame, and this was one of the practice ones that doesn't look as cool as the one that I gave him, but I finished it so I could put it on my wall. And it's a painting of, it's actually me kayaking. The reference picture I used was a picture my dad took when we were out kayaking one night in May, I think, at a local lake, and the sunset was amazing, obviously, and I was like, wow, I want to paint that. So yeah, it's a really good memory and it looks so cool. I'm so proud of it. So now we have postcards that I made. I made 3 of these, and I think it was inspired by another Instagram prompt. I think someone suggested that I draw a cactus, and I went off the rails with this one, and I painted 3 little postcards. The first one I made had a cactus in it from Seguro National Park in Arizona, and I did like a little sunset, and then I painted Dream Lake at Rocky Mountain National Park. There's this really cool trail with 3 lakes. The mountain, the big mountain in this picture is Hallett Peak. And the other postcard is from Isle Royale National Park in Michigan. It's just a little national park. It's literally an island in the middle of one of the Great Lakes. I don't remember which one. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really pretty. This is a painting of a pond at the camp that I worked at this summer. As I said, I had a lot of free time, and one night, me and some of my co-workers, fellow staffers, we went on a hike through the woods, like literally through the woods. The guys just decided to blaze their own trail. It was crazy, but it was fun. And at the end, we found this pond, and it was so pretty, and I took a picture of it because I was like, I want to paint this. So I did, and I think it came out really well. Just ignore like the grass blobs on the bottom, that's kind of weird, but yeah, good times from camp. This is a perplexed banana. This was another Instagram prompt, and I think the prompt was literally perplexed banana. So I painted a banana and drew a face on it. This is another postcard painting that I made. It says having a wonderful time on it. There's a very specific story behind this. There's this one song by Port Blue, and it was never officially released, so it's like a sketchy recording of it is on YouTube in like the depths of Adam Young's fan base. And I think the song is called Bass Jumping, and there's a recording of like a clip from a movie, and the line says, "If you ever think of me, send me a postcard, just say having a wonderful time, I'll understand." So that song reminds me of the beach, so I painted a sunset on the beach with like a little fishing pier, and I put having a wonderful time. And it reminds me of that song and the beach and all things happy, and I love it. This is a sunset quote from Atticus. This is one of my favorites. It says, "Never go too long without watching sunset." This is a copy of a painting that I made. It doesn't have the texture of a watercolor painting anymore because the original is in my room. But I made this in April. I did a drawing challenge on my Instagram in April. It was during quarantine, so I had some free time, and I made a painting or drawing or something every day. It was really fun, and this was one of them. The prompt was a note to a friend, so I wrote some Switchfoot lyrics on top of this little watercolor explosion. This was when I first started getting into watercolor, and it was really fun just blending colors together. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. These are amazing. This was another Instagram drawing prompt that I just like took to the next level. I think someone told me to paint like my favorite song, my favorite album cover, and I was like, let's paint all 9 of Relient K's album covers. So that's what I did. I love Relient K, they are one of my favorite bands, and yeah, I have all of their albums on my wall. I think they came out surprisingly well, and I'm really proud of them. This is a little painting I made inspired by a graphic from To Write Love on Her Arms, which is like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a non-profit organization that does mental health stuff, and this was a graphic they put out for World Suicide Prevention Day one year, and I loved it, so I made my own version of it. Moving on to non-watercolor things. Surprise, I use other mediums other than watercolor, no way! Here are a couple pen sketches I made at camp. I'm really proud of these. I am like shocked at how well they came out, and I love them, they're so cool. This is another thing that I made in April. I used pen. The prompt for this was something green, so I drew flowers, and I wrote Ephesians 2, 1-5 on there. Another thing that I made in April was this baseball sunset drawing. I made this with crayons. Crayons are another one of my favorite mediums to use. They're just so fun. They're so fun. And the prompt for this was something I want, and I made this in the end of April during quarantine, aka when baseball was supposed to be happening but wasn't because there was a global pandemic and everything was crazy. So I was like, all I want is to just go to a baseball game and watch the sunset, and it would be so fun. I did not get to do that, but baseball did eventually happen, and I got to watch a few games, and it was cool. This is a simple pen sketch I did of a stack of turtles, and this is a pen sketch of a walrus eating a waffle. I colored it with crayons. I made the turtles and the walrus Christmas break last year while I was in Arkansas. I was bored one afternoon, probably. I think I actually asked for prompts on Instagram. I do that a lot, and I don't know. It inspires me, apparently. I make a lot of art based on your prompts, so thanks for the prompts, I guess. So now we're gonna address the elephant in the room. It's right behind me. I'm gonna tell you the story behind this one, alright? Have a seat, get cozy. I realize this has been a long video, but like, this story is hilarious, or at least I think it's hilarious. So, this was another thing I made at camp. It is literally a picture of me at campfire night with my young adult group from Texas. It was a really fun night, and while I was there, one of my pals was joking. He was like, I expect you to draw this exact moment. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, totally. And I was like, what would I draw? Like, your dog? The fire. But as I was sitting there at the fire, I just had like a picture in my mind, and I was like, dang it, I'm gonna have to draw this, because I was like, wow, that's cool. And I was like, I want to document this moment, I want to preserve this, because it was a really fun night and it was so good, and I love thinking about it. So at camp the next week, I spent an entire afternoon trying to execute the vision in my mind, and I struggled so much, and I worked on it for so long, and when I finished it, I was like, wow, I hate this. It looks so bad, but I didn't really want to redo it because I had already been working on it for so long. I was like, okay, whatever. So I looked at it a few hours later, and I was like, it's not terrible. I don't know. I ended up putting it on Instagram with like a caption, absolutely destroying myself. I was like, this looks like a child made it, like a 5-year-old could do better. It's terrible, it's scribbles, it's awful. But then I changed the caption because that week in our small group Bible study at camp, we were talking about grace and extending grace towards other people, and also extending grace towards yourself, because no one's perfect, and we can't have unrealistic expectations for ourselves. We need to be graceful. So I changed the caption. I was like, it preserves a memory and it's cool, and I don't think this was part of the caption, but I was like, maybe I'll make a better one later. I don't know. We're just gonna move on. But people loved it, and several people commented, and they were like, wow, this is amazing. And I was like, are we looking at the same thing here? Are we sure about this? And one of my pals loved it so much, he was like, yo, can you bring me a copy of this? Because I want to put it in my office. And I was like, you're crazy, but yes, I will. To each his own. What that actually meant though, he ended up making like 5 of these massive prints. Like, it doesn't look that big, but it's huge compared to the original drawing. The first time I saw how big it was, I I don't think I said anything. I was just making faces and my dad was just laughing hysterically. Yeah, so now we have this. I still think it's a terrible drawing and I kind of hate it, but also it preserves such a good memory, such a special memory, and it's like, it makes me happy to look at it even though I think it's terrible. But yeah, it also makes me laugh because I think about this story and it's hilarious. It's so funny. So I'll be keeping it around because of those reasons. Not because I think it's like a masterpiece. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of a different one, but it was an idea I had that I thought it might be cool. To keep up with more art that I make, you can follow my art Instagram. I changed my username and it's fancy now. Subscribe for whatever I decide to post next, because you never know what I'm gonna make, when it's gonna be uploaded. It's always a surprise. It's a surprise to me. I don't do anything stupid. Eat your vegetables, call your parents, and hug your dog. Go outside and do great things. And I'll see you guys later. Bye!